Been a couple of weeks since I've been in here. I've been dreading the framing. I don't know why. I've framed way more than this in the past. I've framed whole basements. But this one's just kind of wonky because it's got some weird stuff going on. But anyway, I'm going to get in here. I'm going to get this bathroom cleaned out. And I'm going to get the framing done so I can get the drywall guys and the electricians and the plumbers in here. I am the point of failure right now. the final nail in the back wall of the bathroom. It's exciting. Got my corner post and into the other wall. One of the weird things about the framing is, so this is a wall that was already here, and they've got drywall, and then they've got all this tongue and groove stuff, which is actually the wall. And then in this part, they've got a big 2x4, but in the rest, they've laid the 2x4 like this. And you can see that's not wide enough for the door frame, but a 2x4 on top of that is too much. So that's part of my conundrum, is there's just some really wonky framing in here, and I've got to match up old stuff with new stuff. So this board's either got to come out or get ripped down. And then I've got to come up with a way to stack this up. I may just put another 2x4 laying on top of this. I don't know. So that's one thing I'm noodling on. And then I got to get bracing. I'm going to put some bracing in up there so that I can get a header over to here, kind of up to here. And then this will be just a regular wall, except I'm going to do what they did here. I'm going to lay it side to side because it's not really structural, and I just don't want to eat up the extra room. There's just going to be drywall on one side, drywall on the other side, and maybe tile. We may tile this wall inside the bathroom. So that's really the only, this wall is really the funkiest one because it's not even attached to anything up top. You know, there's an original wall that came in there, and this one's just laid into that. You know, this 2x4 here's attached to that. So that's the only thing really holding this wall up. So I really need to either take this out or rip it down. And I don't really want to take it out because, you know, everything's attached to it. So I don't know, I may draw a line on it and just take a circular saw and just run it up while it's in place and try to cut it out in place. It's kind of it's very complicated, but I think that's the thing to do. Or I could just make the wall wider. I don't know. These are the things I'm noodling on. So I got my laser level, and that line is right down where I need to be there. And that wall is actually pretty straight all the way up to there. It's not quite straight. I may come in a little bit. Nothing in this house is level, but that's where that's my square. So my bottom panel needs to go here, and then my top panel's on that line up there. So I'm going to put some tape up there to mark that so I can put my top beam in. And I'm not going to frame this wall. I'm going to put my header in and put my footer in, and then I'm just going to put in 2x4s, measure 1 by 1 and put them in. For my lumber, I'm just reusing the lumber that I ripped out, but some of it's got nails in it. So I'm going to pull some of the nails out, as many as I can. I'm way past due on a haircut. My rule has been, as motivation to get the framing done in the master bathroom, I've decided I'm not going to get a haircut until I get that done. And my hair is long. I got to finish this framing. I got to get a haircut. So I just finished my back bathroom wall. I got my corner right there, and then it goes all the way into the other wall. It ain't much, but it's a living. So I've still got to connect this wall, which I've pinned down up there. I put bracing in, and I've pinned that wall to the bracing. And I've just got to put some 2x4s, you know, that go from my plate up to my top plate. And all this lumber I just reused. It was in the drop ceiling, and I just reused it. It was all long enough. I mean, these are pretty tall ceilings. I think I was cutting 9'8" to hit the plate in the top. So yeah, it's 10-foot ceilings in here. But I'm out of lumber now. So I got to go to Home Depot. I got to go to Lowe's and get some 2x4s to finish this part of the wall over here. I only need I think I need 4. Yeah, I only need 4 2x4s. And then I'm pretty much done. This wall is kind of a mess because they've chopped in windows and doors. I mean, that used to be a door for the porch, I guess, back in the day. So it's kind of a mess. So I'm going to go in and make sure the structure there is not really good, because that 2x4 in the middle of that wall right there it's chopped in half. Same thing here where they put the bathroom fan in, and there's just really nothing going down to support. I mean, that's load-bearing wall right there. So there's a 2x4 there, there's a 2x4 there, there's a 2x4 there, and then there's one there. But there should be more in there. So I'm going to get basically load-bearing. I'm going to make that kind of a king stud and carry these 2x4s all the way to the floor. It's a wonder the house hasn't fallen down at this point, because up in that corner there's burn damage. So I'm going to reinforce that. And I'm just going to use some of this lumber that I've still got, because I've got some shorter pieces that are left over, but I'm out of long stuff. And then I have to pin these. I put a 2x4 in there, and then there's some tongue and groove right here. And I need to clamp that up at the top to get those to stick together the right way. So that'll tighten this wall up a little bit, which I definitely need. And once I'm done with that, I'm ready to call electricians and plumbers. And then after that, I'll get drywall going in this laundry room, because the laundry room at that point will be finished. It'll just need drywall and trim and paint, and it's done. And then I'll finish the bathroom later. I am not going to finish the bathroom myself. I'm going to find a kitchen and bathroom guy or gal. It may be my neighbor. And I'm going to pay someone to do that, because I'm tired. I'm tired, boss. I'm tired. Plus, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with a kitchen and a bathroom. I'm good at demo. I'm barely good at framing a wall, non-load bearing, and that ain't even fun. The only reason I did this wall and all this little framing is because this was so complicated that it would be harder for me to explain what I wanted done than just to do it. I mean, I spent probably half the time just standing here staring at it, figuring out what to do next. And that would have been a nightmare to bring somebody in to explain all that. So, good to go, ready to roll. All right, I think I'm done framing in here. So I blocked in that where it was burned, and I sistered a 2x4 into there. And then I put a double there. And these came up from here, so I put one there and nailed into that. And then I put a beam here, and I sistered those two together. This was a beam, this was a beam, this was a doorway. So I basically had a piece of wood there, and I put some more in, and then I ran a beam up that way, and then those are nailed together all the way up and down. That wall was not falling down anyway, but it is definitely not going to fall down now. So that is not pretty. There's nothing pretty about that wall. The drywall guy may want to just build a new wall right here in front of that and let the plumbers and everybody just dig into that wall, but whatever. I'll let them worry about that. He can drywall right onto that, I bet. So I think I've got, other than these 4 beams, which I just got to go get, I'm pretty much done. I think there's places for him to connect drywall to almost everywhere. And I'm ready for the plumber. I also get to get a haircut, because I had put my haircut on hold until I finished my framing in here. So after I go to Lowe's and get those 4 2x10 foot 2x4s and cut them down and get them placed, hey, I'm good to go. Haircut time. And pretty good. I had a big pile of lumber that I'd ripped out, and I only have 2 boards left, so I'll use that upstairs in the bathroom, I'm sure. Pretty much used up all my lumber. Zero expense. Four 2x4s from Lowe's is all I'm gonna have to spend for my framing.